If you're an aftermarket supplier that is not generating revenue from your social media posts, then this is the video for you. Being able to craft compelling social media posts is one of the biggest skills that you can have as a marketer nowadays. And in this video, I'm going to give you the exact framework that has generated millions in revenue for aftermarket suppliers just like yourself. But before we move into how to actually write the social media post, I need you to understand a few concepts. And this is what we call current state social media posts at Melody. Let me give you two examples of what a current state social media post would look like. The first one is motorsport. Now, a lot of automotive aftermarket brands believe that they can post motorsport content and it's entertainment to grow their social channels. However, the issue that I have with this is that that is growth for growth's sake. And when we dilute social media to a brand awareness or entertainment platform, we are devaluing the revenue that it can generate for our product or service. So when we're looking at the motorsport content, we need to think, one, does it serve the customer? What kind of value are they getting beyond just entertainment? And does that value rub on a pain point that would get them to purchase your solution? The second thing that we need to think about when it comes to motorsport content is it doesn't actually suit the current algorithm. You may or may not know that when it comes to the algorithm, we used to have a chronological algorithm and now it's a interest-based algorithm. So if my interest is motorsport, then I may see a lot of motorsport content. However, if my interest is diagnostic tools, technical data, the product that you sell, then I can be served that content, and that is where you need to be focusing. The third point is, can a desired action be taken from that content? So when we talk about a desired action, this is exactly what you want your customer to do after reading the social media post. Again, if it's entertainment for entertainment's sake, we're not going to be able to link that next step to the product or solution because we've not gone into a pain point or a reason that they would want to take that next step. Now, the second type of current state posts that we see aftermarket brands post is what we call features and benefits posts. And this is the most common that we see. It's typically a graphic that looks a bit more like an ad than it would a organic social post, and then goes through the features and benefits of your product. The first issue with this type of post is that it doesn't actually give me any kind of pain point irritation or anything beyond what I can't just Google. So when we're just putting out specs or low kind of intent copy, it means that I'm not really sparked to do anything after I read that post. That feeds into the second consideration, which is the customer's pain points. If we are only talking about features and benefits, we can't actually kind of turn the knife or irritate a pain or problem that they may be having and then present ourselves as the solution to getting to their goal. Thirdly, because I've only read a spec sheet, and this is very what we call bottom of funnel, there's no actual desired action that I'm compelled to take. So again, when we're looking at social media posts as a whole, we need to understand that the whole point of this post is the next desired action that we want them to take. Removing these two types of current state posts from your feed will then allow us to make room for the content that we are going to craft next. Now, in order to actually craft this post, we need to look at two things: the reader and the moment. When it comes to the reader, what we never want to think about is a lot of customer personas. In fact, we would take one specific customer persona and we would speak directly to them. So if you don't have your customer personas prepared, we do have another video that goes through a marketing plan with a workbook in order to work this out. However, if you do have your customer personas, there are a few things that we want to focus on when we're creating a social media post. We want to look at what is their goal. So what are they trying to achieve? Then we need to look at their pain points. And a pain point for us is what is stopping them from getting to their goal. That's the pain that they're currently feeling. That could be chaos in their workshop. That could be disorganization. That could be loss of revenue. That could be lack of earning profit. Think about what those pain points are and how your solution will then bridge that gap to their goal. The third thing that we need to consider, and this is what we really need to go in depth in, is their hesitations or objections for using selling your specific product or service. When we're writing these social media posts, we need to overcome that hesitation and objection. And that means that we can then guide them to the next step, having reassured them that our solution is the correct one for them. Once we've addressed those three things, we then need to look at the moment. And the moment is referring to the stage of the customer journey. Like I mentioned before, features and benefits live at the bottom of this funnel. So if I roughly go through the funnel with you today, you'll be able to understand and place the reader in the moment that they currently are at. The funnel that we're using today starts with unaware. So this is where the customer is unaware of a pain that they currently have. Now that doesn't mean the pain doesn't exist, but the point of the social post at this stage is to make them aware that they have the problem. We then move them into problem aware. This is where now they know that they have this problem, but they don't know that a solution exists yet. We then move to solution aware. So we've now made them aware that they have the problem and we are the solution for that problem. But they're not quite convinced yet until they move to product aware. So they know that a solution exists and now they know that a product exists. This is where they're comparing those products against your competitors. So at each stage of this funnel, we need to create copy that speaks to their pain point and speaks to the moment that they're currently in order to guide them to the next desired action, which is the next stage in the funnel. If this is the only improvement that you make in your post, then you are guaranteed to generate much better outcomes than you're currently having. So again, to recap, we want to pick the persona, pick the moment that they're currently in, and then what desired action we want to drive from that social media post. But we can get much better and much clearer. And that's why the next thing that we're going to look at is the framework on exactly how to write this post. So the framework that we use here at Madre is called Scope. And this is just one of the frameworks that we use to make high performing posts. The S stands for Stop the Scroll hook. Now the hook is the most important of any of the social media components that you're going to create. What we want to get from the hook is that it stops the scroll so that they're intrigued by what is coming. We found that numbers, stats, shocking moments, or quotations work really well in the hook. You want in the first two lines for them to understand exactly what is going to happen next without giving it all away. It needs to be intriguing enough for them to read the next section. That is all we want to achieve with the hook. C stands for context through story. Now, storytelling is one of the most effective ways to have someone read your social media post. But it's not just because it's easier to read, but when you are going into a story with a pain point, not only are you making it visual for the customer so they can now see what you're trying to show them rather than the features and benefits that we spoke about before, but also they memorize it better. So what typically happens with a social media post is that not everybody takes the desired action. That's just a small percentage of people. However, a lot of people will then go away and Google it later. So having a memorable pain point with the solution in their mind that they can go back to will give us a higher chance of success for them searching for us later. O is the outcome or observation. Now this will typically be your solution. So you're going to explain what the outcome of the pain point was and make that connection between their pain that they're currently having and the goal that they want to get to. Or it could be an observation of how you would improve the situation or pain point that they're currently in. Remember, not every single post needs to specifically talk about your product, but it can be adjacent to the issue. So the observation is where we would use this. P stands for prompt. Now prompt is to prompt them to make the next desired action. So this could be to save the social media post, to click on a link, to comment for a link, to go to a new video. Whatever the prompt is, we need to then make that clear inside the post. E is for exhibit. Now exhibit is when you will attach an image, a graphic, or a short form video to the post that you're currently writing. What we've found works really well is either the short form video or really kind of scrappier images than you would traditionally see in social media. The issue that the aftermarket currently has is that it's so graphic-like and ad-like that nobody is going to want to click on that post because it just seems like you're advertising to me. Instead, bring a bit of life into your social media post and show your team, show people smiling, show something more casual, and also think of how you can link it up to the hook so that both of them validate the post together so that you then are enticing them to read the full post. But writing a social media post is just one small piece of a wider social media marketing plan, and we've detailed that exact plan with an extended workbook that you can follow in a video right here.